Dan Quinn called Jayden Daniels week to week, but what he actually described is day to day, frankly, which is to say, he said they're hopeful he will play on Sunday and not miss any time. He also said that they're going to be really thorough with the recovery, and I think you have to be. Not only because he's a rookie quarterback in the face of the franchise, and we know what happens when you aggressively allow that young player to make decisions for themselves, but because they are 5-2. They are playing a conference, but not a division game. And then they get into some division part of their schedule with New York after that, and Philly not long from now either. So if there's such a thing as being extra careful when you say 90% or something, it's just math in terms of tie breaking metrics and what matters the most. The games after the Chicago game matter a little more, but if he can play, they're going to let him play. He's just got to prove that he's healthy, not bothered, and can be himself.
Yeah, the last part's the most key thing. And again, we've gone through this before here, haven't we? No need to further reference that. But in terms of a rib or kind of that part of the body, if you ever had an injury, I broke my ribs in 2019 actually, and the amount of time it took, even once everything was healed, I wasn't healed. You know what I mean? Like you still feel it. You still like you're horse around with your kids and it'll sort of grab at you. And that's like, obviously I'm not athletic and I'm old, and he's playing NFL football, but you can imagine it might be a little bit more difficult to do that activity where people are hitting you and crunching you and, tackling you, and you got to be able to count on your body. No questions asked. That really is an essential pain management thing, where sometimes you talk about a muscle rehabbing where you don't have the ability to make it fire, where like you tell your pulled muscle, go, and the muscle doesn't go because it can't fire. This is a comfort, pain management. Can I be myself? Can I not favor anything? Can I not favor it as I'm trying to run, throw, do everything I need to do to be on the football field and be himself? So it's interesting that he said the part that threw me, because week to week says we're going to be patient, we're going to be cautious. The hopeful he might play this weekend part, I went, oh, wait a minute. That's interesting.
So I'm not surprised that they are hopeful he can play based on the fact that he was back on the sideline. If it's a serious injury, that doesn't happen. Based on the fact that he was kind of showing the fans as best he could walking off the field after the win, that he was fine with the arms being hoisted over his head and a waving to them. That was telling. I'm just surprised that Quinn gave as much information he did. And I find it to be really refreshing and awesome, frankly. And I thank him for his forthright candor, because the fans were all locked in. Everybody wants to know in town, is this kid okay? And I thought he kind of met the moment and didn't do coach speak and didn't keep secrets and say, we'll see, we can't give you anything, we're going to keep. No. Just come out and tell us what's going on. And it sounds like they're hopeful that he can play. So that's really, really good news. I just think that I would need to be 100% certain, because there is no, I'm not running today in Jayden Daniels game. There is no, I'm not going to get hit today chip in his brain, I don't think. When he plays football, he plays football. It's backyard quarterback. There's a lot of from the pocket efficiency and success because he can sling it. But when he leaves that pocket, there's a street ball, let's go make a play thing that I just think is part of the beauty, but is also worrisome if you're not completely healthy. And that's where I need to be sure, because I don't think if I'm putting him out there, Cliff Kingsbury, we're calling the game how we call the game. There will be zero situation where he plays and Cliff goes in going, all right, I'm tearing these pages out. We're not running the read option. We're not having him do nakeds on a 4th and 1. Can't call this. If there's a single play you feel like you don't want to or can't call, he shouldn't play. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I tend to be way more cautious than a lot of folks, to the point of irritation, I think, when it comes to.
I think a lot of people just want to see the Williams-Daniels match.
Well, yeah, but just in general, when the whole franchise is on your shoulders, sorry, if they get linebacker right in 3 years, that's great. He matters. I don't do if he's at any further risk than normal. I don't care what we had this debate a million times. I don't want to rehash it again, but not you and me. I mean, everybody. The difference between cleared and himself.
Yeah.
If he's himself with no limitations, and I mean none, then he plays. Like my default right now is that I am not even going to let him think about playing against Chicago. Right? Like that there's got to be a huge mountain climb threshold beaten where I have no doubt in my mind, he's got no doubt, and everybody's hunky-dory good to go. But like the percentage for me right now, if I'm in charge, it's very low that he would play this weekend.
But to the reality of the situation, right now, I feel like he would play. I feel this moment after Quinn just spoke like it is more likely that he starts against the Bears than he doesn't. And I don't know that I would have felt that way before he spoke. Real quick for our double play, I want to bring in Clary to talk about the vibes at the stadium. He was our show representative at Northwest Stadium for the 40-7 whooping of the Panthers. So, Ryan, how was it?
It was awesome. Like, going into this, I mean, as a kid, I would go basically, I mean, probably at least 4 games a year, really, back when I was younger. And we haven't really been back. I've only been to a Commanders game, or Redskins game as well, probably like 4 times over the last like 6 seasons, really.
You guys had season tickets until when?
Until like 2009, maybe, I believe.
Okay.
But I went back and it was awesome. Like, the fan experience was really cool. They made a ton of upgrades that we can obviously see. I mean, one thing that I really kind of took away from it was the space. They had a ton of space in the concourse, in which I don't really remember that. I mean, luckily enough, I sat in the 300s in the club section. The club section was awesome. The food was pretty good. I mean, it's stadium food. It's a little pricey, but again, I was telling you guys before the game that I will pay however much it is just to get a decent burger or chicken tenders, whatever it is, if my team is good, and the team was good yesterday. So I thought
The
the
burger
experience
tastes a little better when they hang 40.
exactly
40 burgers taste the best.
Yeah.
The 40 burgers are delish.
And one thing I will say is concessions move really quick. Like, I went in between a
That's what I was
series
gonna
there for a
ask.
TV timeout, and it moved like within 2 minutes. About 10 people
I
ahead
don't know
of
if
me.
they have these on the club level. The game changer that I have seen at the stadium from my own eyes so far is, though, in most stadiums already had this, but they didn't for some reason. Those speed markets, they
Mhm.
installed them everywhere. Walk in, grab your beer, grab your chips, grab your hot dog, whatever, scan and get out. Those are just a no-brainer, but they do seem to have been a game changer.
They do. And walking around the concourse before the game, I mean, I saw everybody was taking advantage of those. And I thought that it was really cool because, again, this was not something that you would get in the previous regime. Like, you'd get a long line at Johnny Rockets. You wait 40 minutes for 2 chicken tenders, pay $20 for it, and your team would also stink. And you are still paying the price for pretty hefty concessions there, but still, the experience was fun. Like, I told Grant before the show today, I actually want to go back. And in previous years, I would go to FedEx Field or Northwest Stadium, whatever we're calling it nowadays, and I would never want to go back. It was awful, but I can say now I do actually want to go
You're
back.
like, I went, I did my thing. Now, this year you go, wouldn't mind seeing that Bears game.
So can you separate because again, when they're playing good football, it's awesome. Can you separate that part from the stadium experience? You see what I'm saying? Like, obviously they won, so everything tastes better, but
I think it's mostly the winning part, too.
I mean,
honestly, for a lot of people.
I think it's part of the experience overall.
Hmm.
I mean, like, if the team is good, like, I will wait in a line because you're expecting to wait in a line when there's a ton of fans there. And it's a little bit more fun when it's only Commanders fans as well and not Eagles or Giants or Cowboys fans. But it was an incredible experience, and kudos to the organization, man. Like, they have turned it around.